my way to see Batman v Superman, and yeah, I have my Flash T-shirts on, so it's gotta be good. Team Batman or Team Superman, and why?
Team Batman.
And why?
Because he's rich.
Shut the fuck. It would really suck if we got there and this sold out. To see this movie, despite the fact that it's getting so many negative reviews from critics, and regardless of what Rotten Tomato want you to believe, because hey, Batman v Superman, right? I've been waiting for this movie for so long, man. Like, look, y'all remember that that little footage that they showed Comic-Con? Was it 2013? Yeah. Man, everybody went crazy. I went crazy. So, yeah. Who cares about a critic, right? This movie was made for a fan. I am a fan, so let's get it. Ben Affleck being cast as Batman.
I mean...
You don't even know who Ben Affleck is, right?
Tell me, do you bleed? You will.
It is 5:08 right now. And the movie is not gonna start till 6. But I'm not taking any chance, so. How come Zack Snyder didn't film Batman v Superman in St. Paul? I mean, look at this. Look at this weather. This is like, this is Gotham weather. I'm telling you. See how dark it is? AMC. Let's get it. Alright, Bella, are you Team Batman or Team Superman?
I'm Team Wonder Woman.
Alright. Alright. Which team are you on? Are you Team Bat or are you Team Superman? Alright. That's nice.
What about you?
And why? Why Team Superman?
Because, like, I don't know. Because Batman seems unjustified, and he seems like Batman doesn't really have a reason to be fighting other than I want to go swing at bad guys. But like, Superman's fighting for the good betterment of the people.
All right, cool.
What about you?
I'm Team Superman.
Yeah.
It's so dark, I can't see. Oh, God. Alright guys, Will, thank you for being here with me. We're about to discuss Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. So, Will and I, we went to see the movie. He didn't like it that much. I liked the movie probably a little too much. So now we're here to talk about it. So, Will, can you talk about what's your overall thought on the movie?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the visuals were stunning. The visuals were really, really good. That's something Zack Snyder does really well. 300 had great visuals. Watchmen had great visuals. Sucker Punch, but Batman v Superman, what it lacked is what Sucker Punch lacked, and that was plot and character development. Like, the only character that you could argue was semi-developed was Batman. They did an okay job of developing Batman, but Amy Adams' character was terrible. Absolutely awful.
Okay.
Henry Cavill's Superman was worse in this than he was in Man of Steel.
Really?
Yeah, I thought so. Because, I don't know, he seemed more preachy towards Amy Adams than he was in Man of Steel. In Man of Steel, he was more emotionally torn from being a superhero or being regular. In this one, he's torn from banging Amy Adams and not banging Amy Adams. It's a big deal, but not something I want to watch on.
Yeah, well, I thought the Superman in this movie is like a more complex because he's been like, this is like the first time he's like, okay, I'm gonna be, the superhero to save the world, and it's not the Superman that we know and love, like the Christopher Reeve Superman. But this Superman is like a very human kind of Superman, I think that's what Zack Snyder did so well in the Man of Steel. And by the way, I love Man of Steel.
You also get to see
is that he makes Superman like a very grounded kind of character. So,
but you also get to see this side of things with Batman, where Superman killed millions of people, straight up. I mean, I'm gonna go into this later, but Batman does a lot of killing too. But
This is spoiler. Like, if you haven't
Yeah.
seen the movie, go see it.
but he kills so many people, and you can like that's one of my favorite scenes. One of the best scenes in the movie was the first scene when you see like Wayne Tower crashing
Right.
down, and like there's the girl and she doesn't have her mom, and Bruce Wayne has to save her, and her mom's dead. That's a really well done scene,
Right.
because it shows that Superman's not as good a person as they say he is. But he's also just stupid. Like, he should have known that court scene was a setup. Like, your arch enemy invites you to a place where the guys who you crippled is going to prosecute you. Just don't show up. Then you're responsible for, what, 300 more deaths because of, like, an explosion?
Yeah. It wasn't even his fault. Like,
Well, if he didn't show up, they wouldn't have blown it up.
just to blame him. Like,
Yeah.
Superman did that. That's totally him.
But they have built-in deniability.
Right.
Like, they have built-in, like, he did it. He's got powers. We don't.
All right. So now, I want to talk to you about the plot. You have a lot of problem with the plot. Like,
Yeah.
I want you to think about it. Like, is it really the plot or was it the narration? Like, what was it that like bugged you?
I actually kind of liked the narration.
Really?
Yeah. I think it really was the plot. Because, well, one, don't market a movie as Batman versus Superman if you're going to have a 2-minute fight scene in
Right.
which Superman gets his ass handed to him. Alright?
Yeah.
And second off, like, they had this. They did it so well in the build-up part where it's gonna be a huge fight. It's gonna be a huge fight. Jesse Eisenberg had a longer monologue than the fight was. So
Yeah. Like one of the problems I have with this movie is that, like, if I'm gonna make a movie like about Batman fighting Superman,
yeah,
I'm just gonna call it Batman versus Superman. But then, like, they call it Dawn of Justice, so I'm like, okay,
So-
this is not really
Yeah.
a Batman versus Superman movie. It's kind of like a setup to Justice League.
yeah. The title of Dawn of Justice is kind of just throwing another ball into juggling, to where
Right.
they have to juggle in another movie. And Marvel's the only studio that's ever done this well. The Matrix, no.
Or maybe Star Wars.
Saw doesn't have like a continuing plot besides the villain. This is supposed to, and now everyone's hoping and praying that Zack Snyder isn't directing Justice League.
Not me. I like that.
It'll be a visually good movie, but it'll kind of be like a 3-year-old wrote it.
when we talk about Zack Snyder, he's the kind of director who's like kind of like Michael Bay, but a little bit better than Michael Bay. Like style over substance kind of director.
I would say he's better than Michael Bay.
But when you think about it, style over substance is not always bad. I mean, most of the time it's bad. But okay,
but when it's a movie as hyped as this, that's a bad thing. They would take. I mean, the only way that we would take style over substance is, in my opinion, if the whole movie was just a gladiator match between Batman and Superman. I would totally pay for that. And that's kind of what I thought I was paying for. I thought I was paying for a 30-minute fight scene, which I was, but with an ugly Doomsday.
we talk about that later.
Who had
the Doomsday
weird powers. Like, that was not Doomsday. He also had butt cheeks. But,
and no dick.
yeah, he was smooth and then, like,
Yep.
pulled it over.
And
But,
maybe they're gonna put it in the rated R cut, but we don't have to see about that.
oh, my God.
But now, I want to talk about characters. So this movie has some characters that work and some did not. Which character worked for you and which one didn't?
I would say, God. I mean, if it's even a character, I'd say the Flash works.
Okay.
In like that
All right.
3-minute clip that we got of him. I mean, Lawrence Fishburne wasn't awful in the 5 minutes he was in as Clark Kent's boss.
He didn't add much to the movie.
Exactly. I don't think any of the main characters did a good job. Ben Affleck is a decent Batman.
I
Third
thought Ben
best.
Affleck is the best Batman.
No.
What? Wait, am I the only one who liked the movie?
Well, I mean, I don't hate the movie, but it's you gotta just look at it and say it's not a good movie.
Well, it's. I'm gonna say this. the biggest problem with this movie, it was made by a DC fan for DC fan only. Like, if you're not a DC fan, this movie made no sense. Like, there are stuff in the movie where I'm like, oh shit, they're doing it. And then I look at the other people and they're like, huh?
But there's, as Marvel, even DC has shown before, there's a way to connect with the DC fans while pleasing the other fans who want to see the movie.
You're talking about the Dark Knight trilogy?
Yeah.
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 But
That did a really good job.
But that movie, that trilogy is like, is a Batman like standalone kind of universe. Like, Chris Nolan make no effort whatsoever to like connect it with the DC movie. It's just Batman.
Well, I mean, I disagree because he definitely spent a lot of time in The Dark Knight Rises building up the Bat's broken back.
I mean, true, but in terms of like Justice League and other superheroes, there's no connection.
But there's a lot of time. You can't say that just because there's no Justice League references in it that it's not from the DC universe, because
I mean, it is, but
Batman does a lot of time before he joins the Justice League, and then he kills them all. But there's a long time before he joins. This could be like, and he was relatively young until The Dark Knight Rises. Then he was an old fart. But anyways, I think that Ben Affleck's butt chin made him a better Bruce Wayne. But he was the best Bruce Wayne, not the best Batman. The Batman suit was really ugly.
how?
The ears were too short. I don't know why that made it uglier, but the ears were too short.
Well, you talk about how the suit make him look fat. I disagree.
It did.
If that considered fat, I want to be fat.
No, but like,
Best Batman would be Nicolas Cage.
there's this whole,
God damn.
there's this like whole build-up scene
Crazy man.
where he's just getting jacked. He's pulling tire. For some reason, he's pulling a tire in the rain. How does he have rain in his cave, by the way? I'm gonna just throw that out there. But there's also like a 5-minute scene of him just getting totally yoked, and then he dresses up in this suit that smooths over the abs.
Yeah. All right, now let's talk about Henry Cavill's Superman. What's your thought on it?
He looks like Superman.
He looks like okay. Now, there's a lot of criticism of hello, how he doesn't feel like Superman. Like, people want Superman to be like the Christopher Reeve Superman, like the lighthearted, and Henry Cavill is kind of like a dark version of Superman. So, like, in this day and age, when you think of Superman, which version of Superman do you think about?
Well, I mean, you have pros and cons to both. Henry Cavill Superman's story fits better to the screen, but Christopher Reeve Superman is more true to the comics. 100%. Like, in the comics, he never has these like personal conflicts. He's always a good-hearted person, and everyone realizes that after he saves people.
I mean, but recently they tried to make Superman like a darker kind of
Yeah, but I
character.
don't look at the recent comics. So they just try to mold that for the movie. I look at stuff from like 2010 and back, even to like the oldest ones. Like, those are the ones where they're not trying to mold them, make the movie look like it was justified. They're
Well, the reason why I actually prefer the Henry Cavill Superman because I just feel connected to him more than the Christopher Reeve Superman, because Christopher Reeve, I love his Superman, but I'm never a big fan of his version of Clark Kent, because like if I was
you can
Superman,
totally tell.
yeah, because if I was Superman and I try to hide my identities, I was just like, I'm just gonna be like real cool to people. I'm not just gonna be like, oh, he's trying to acting like super nerdy, and for some reason I would be suspected like, are you Superman? Like, why are you acting weird and all that? But Henry Cavill, he like, you actually felt like Superman and Clark Kent is the same person, but somehow it allowed him to like fit into the human community.
And they're both trying to bang Amy Adams. Two different people. That's the whole movie. That's probably my biggest gripe, is that it had too much romance. Not
Yeah,
even romance, it was just the chase.
Like, as much as I like Amy Adams as an actress, and I thought she played the role well, her story, like, they're just trying to make her relevant, and it's like,
She's not.
like they try to shove it in our throat, like, Lois Lane, but it just didn't work for the movie.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
No, it didn't work at all, because it seemed like it's hard to be a good actress with a bad script.
Right.
That's exactly what happened with Fantastic Four. They had such a good cast, and the script was atrocious. So that movie just went down the shitter. And now we have Amy Adams, just like Lois Lane's character is, oh, I have a boyfriend who can save me. I'm gonna go do stuff that can get me saved. And it's so irritating. Like, why does she try to drown herself to save a staff that'll kill her boyfriend? Like, they have no guarantee it'll kill.
They should have
Doomsday.
Batman do it.
Exactly. He wasn't. He was just watching the fight, anyways.
Like, I got the best seats in the house.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he wasn't fighting Doomsday until the very end. He was just kind of chilling there with his gun. Yeah. By the way, Batman has a gun, but he's just sitting there.
All right. Let's talk about Batman killing people.
Pin dropped a guy. He broke a guy's neck straight up. If he's not dead, he's crippled for life.
So I understand like how some people like yourself like have problem with Batman killing, because I think what's make the Batman character so compelling and interesting is that he doesn't kill people. Like he bit the shit out of you, but he's just not gonna kill you. I think that's what makes Batman such an interesting character. But the reason why I'm okay with Batman killing in this movie, because this is a very different version of Batman. Like this is like the 45 years old Bruce Wayne who's went through a lot of shit. Robin's dead.
The first Robin's dead, which means he's got two more Robins to go.
We don't know that.
Yeah, you do. In the comics, that suit is from Dick Grayson.
Is it Dick Grayson or is it Jason Todd? I think it's Jason Todd.
No, I think it's Dick Grayson. In the comics, it's Dick Grayson who
That was Dick Grayson.
gets murdered by Joker, and
No, Jason Todd getting murdered. With the crowbar. It was Jason
oh,
Todd.
you are right. It is
Yeah.
Jason Todd. Okay.
And then he became the Red Hood. Yeah.
Red Hood. Yeah. Okay.
So
So
it's
it
just,
might be
it's just a Robin.
Yeah.
Is dead.
Okay. Robin's dead.
So
Let's
I
just say
think
Robin's dead.
like realistically, if I was Batman, I'm gonna kill a lot of people.
But you don't make the rule if you're not gonna follow it.
But I think like in the end of the movie when let's talk about the Martha scene. What's your thought on the Martha?
Worst scene in that movie.
Really?
Is
I
Superman sitting there like, you have to save Martha, and then
I think
Bruce
it's one
Wayne's
of
like,
those scenes.
What did you say?
It's one of those scenes where you either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. Like,
why would you love it?
Because okay, here's the thing. Like, in the beginning of the movies, they show us the Wayne family being murdered.
Yeah.
And Thomas Wayne's laying on the ground, just saying Martha, Martha, and that's kind of image, kind of like traumatized Bruce Wayne, and he vowed to be the one who's gonna stop those kind of stuff from happening. And when
Without killing.
Yeah. And when he has the kryptonite spear about to kill Superman, Superman said, "You have to save Martha." That's kind of remind him of. They didn't become best friends because they have the same mother's name. I think Superman laying on the ground saying Martha, it's kind of remind him of the person he vowed not to become. Like, oh my God, I'm the guy who killed my parents. I'm about, if I don't do something about it,
He had nothing to do with his parents dying.
a
But
mother would die. Like Superman is not just an alien who destroy
Yeah.
buildings anymore. He's a person who has a mother who's in trouble.
Okay, I agree with that.
Mhm.
But the way they did the scene,
They could have
they
done
didn't-
it a lot better.
Yeah, they didn't handle it well, because that could have been a really emotional scene. But all it was a bunch of roided out men screaming at each other that their moms have the same name. Like,
And Lois Lane just came out of nowhere, like, that's his mother. Like, where have you been?
yeah, exactly. She just runs in like, oh, it's his mom. How'd she know what they were talking about?
Yep.
Was she just like chilling, like, nah, I'm gonna let my boyfriend get stabbed first, and then I'll come out. That makes such a good news story, I swear. That's the reason for all the conflicts, by the way. She just wants to get a good story. She goes into a terrorist organization and asks the terrorist if he's a terrorist. That is true white girl stupid.
Genius.
That is true stupidity.
All right, let's. Speaking of stupid character, let's talk about Lex Luthor
He was more of a Joker than anything,
or Riddler.
or Riddler,
Yeah.
but a bad one at that. Jesse Eisenberg was probably my biggest intrigue going into the movie. He's a great actor,
He is a great
and he's
actor,
really good
but-
at playing that like awkward guy.
Yeah.
And like he does in all his movies, American
And,
Ultra,
you know,
Social Network.
At first, I was like, I don't know about this casting. I like Jesse Eisenberg, but him, I'm trying to imagine him as Lex Luthor. It just,
And you were right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he was never Lex Luthor.
Never.
Like even in Superman Return, like a very disappointing movie. Lex Luthor was good in it,
Yeah. Kevin
Um,
Spacey was a good Lex Luthor.
but this guy, he's just not Lex Luthor. But I'm gonna give him a second chance, and the reason is that I felt like this movie is trying to tell the origins of Lex Luthor.
But then again, going back to how you saying this was trying to be true to the comics, the timeline is so skewed. The origin is way before Batman played Superman. Way before. Way before. Superman
because-
has fought Lex Luthor at least 1,000,000 times before this.
No, because this is like a new Superman too. Like he's been Superman for like 2 years.
And he's been fighting Lex Luthor forever then, if we're going by the DC universe.
Yeah,
He
well-
wasn't there for 2 years before Doomsday or Lex Luthor showed up. And Lex Luthor didn't make Doomsday.
They had like a Zod naked body, dump it into a pool of Kryptonian water and tech.
By that time,
And
in
somehow
the movie,
he
I had
turned-
clocked out. Like I was hardly paying attention anymore. It hurt my brain to watch the rest of this movie. The rest of the movie, if spoilers again, is Doomsday's butt cheeks come out. Wonder Woman shows up. Wonder
Which is a
Woman's
badass, by the way. I love
Wonder Woman's visuals were really cool. She was really cool. So they did her right. Even though she was hardly in the movie, they did her right. And Doomsday has this weird electric shock waves that when he's in the city kills no one, but when he's in the middle of nowhere explodes everything. And then Batman sits on the sideline with a gun, and Superman gets his ass kicked, and then Superman gets stabbed. And I didn't know he could get stabbed, but he got stabbed, and then he died because Superman can die now without kryptonite. And
No, because that thing that's come out of Doomsday is actually Zod, and Zod is like Kryptonian. So
okay, so you're saying if Zod's skin touched Superman's skin, that he would die?
yes,
If
not just-
Zod punched him through the stomach, he would die.
he could die. It's
No.
like
I'm calling bullshit. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. And then, like, they tried to do this eerie cliffhanger thing at the end. When Superman's in his coffin, they lower him down, and you see, like, the dirt start to rise a little, and it
yeah,
ends, but, like,
I didn't like that at all because I would have preferred they keeping Superman like dead in the beginning. I mean, at the end of the movie,
exactly. It would
Yeah.
have been better in Dawn of Justice
Like,
if
they
you
make a-
actually thought
like,
he was dead.
they make a bold choice. Like, okay, we're gonna kill off Superman, and they couldn't even follow through with the decision. Like, just keep him dead and bring him back later on in the movie.
Now
I mean,
there-
in
now there's no
future
real
movie.
cliffhanger because you know he's alive.
Yeah.
So, like, we're going to make this really cool cliffhanger with this dirt,
Mhm.
but it's going to ruin the cliffhanger, but all our audiences are too stupid to notice.
But I want to go back to my Lex Luthor point because the reason why I said I'm gonna give Jesse Eisenberg a second chance because I feel like they are going with like a very young version kind of Lex Luthor because they call him Lex Luthor Jr. in the movie.
Yeah.
So in the movie, there's two things I get out of the Lex Luthor character is that he's very rich, very smart, and he's very immature. Like that scene when he's trying to feed the guy the candy. It's just, what are you doing, man? Like, but and like the long hair, I thought it was a wig, but it's the actual hair. It's his actual hair. So I think this is a very like a mid-20s kind of version of Lex Luthor. And when he was in prison, no, before he was in prison, he was like getting all this kind of knowledge from the Kryptonian robot, and that's make him, like that's changed him a little bit. He's like a little bit more mature. And when he's in prison, they shave his head, and then he know Darkseid is coming, so he's become this kind of like a very different kind of Lex Luthor. That's where the Lex Luthor we know and love kind of come into play. So yeah, that's my thought on it. But in the movie, it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
the character didn't work.
The
for me.
one scene where you saw a glimpse of like legit Lex Luthor was the Granny Piss Tea scene, which I won't spoke because that one's like a huge plot point in the movie. So if you go see it, Granny's Peach Tea. But
I thought they should have made the guy with like
No legs.
the legs. Yeah, if they make him Doomsday, it would actually make more sense because he has reason to fight Superman. Like I know
then it takes the Kryptonian part out of it.
true, but it would
I
be
thought-
cooler. Like
I thought it would have been better if he had killed himself on the Superman side. I thought that's what he was going to do when he was climbing up there. When he was like put false god
Oh,
on him.
yeah.
I thought he was going to kill himself, like because he had no leg. His life was like over. He was
Like I feel like
ruined.
for a person who have such hatred for Superman, if they make him Doomsday, it would be a lot cooler than just make.
It might be a cool story, but
yeah.
he wouldn't be able to kill Superman because there's no
True.
Kryptonian part of it.
Um,
The thing, like, I think if he killed himself on the sign, it really would have really sent a message to Superman and saying like, "You did this to me. You're not.
Right.
You're not a god."
and maybe
You're
have
not-
him like speak, trying to
Yeah.
speak because we know Doomsday doesn't talk, but
Yeah.
have him trying to like speak. That would bring like a very human kind of characters to Doomsday, which we haven't seen.
Doomsday
in the
looks
comics.
so ugly, guys. He was so gross. He literally looked like a turd with legs. It was awful. It was terrible.
He looks like
Oh.
the Michael Bay Ninja Turtle.
Worse.
A lot worse.
At least you can look at the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles and be like, at least they tried. You can't say that with this Doomsday.
All right, I want to talk about something else a little bit. Why do you think Marvel have been so it's been more successful in terms of creating a cinematic universe than DC?
Well, that's easy because it's a lot harder to make a dark movie than it is to make a lighthearted movie. And DC is the grittier, darker, more violent comic universe.
And by the way, I don't have a problem with like a greedy comic book movie at all.
No,
Yeah.
but like now in this hit, maybe it'll change because Deadpool was rated R. But
but,
they need
but it wasn't dark.
no. But I'm saying that they need these movies to be rated R.
Mhm.
They need it because these movies are supposed to be dark and brooding and violent. Like the Joker, like Dark Knight, could have been even better if Joker had some R-rated violence in there, like he really is.
Yeah.
Like, and that movie is probably top 100 all time ever created. Not even on my list.
This is my
like on-
favorite movie of all time.
Like on everyone's list, it's somewhere in the top 100. Except my mom, she won't even watch it. It's too dark for her, quote unquote. So imagine if it was rated R. That shit would be crazy.
I heard they're doing a rated R animated movie, Killing Joke.
Killing Joke got the rated R.
Killing Joke is a rated R.
Got the rating 2 days ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and well, what I think Marvel have been so successful because they play very safe. And the reason why I say that because they don't have to start with like a major character. They start with Iron Man, which is like not a lot of people know about Iron Man. But it was such a big hit, so they kind of built the whole universe based on that character because RDJ is he is Iron Man.
Yeah. Maybe
And-
this will change with Suicide Squad,
Mm.
but I think Marvel's got the better end of the casting.
Right.
Because Suicide Squad's cast is perfect. I love it. That's gonna be my favorite movie of all time. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But the casting of each character is so perfect. Like half of the actors don't even have to act because that's how they are in real life. Mark Ruffalo is an awkward scientist, maybe in real life, and Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark.
Yeah.
They're the same person. Tom Hiddleston is Loki. Chris
Evans.
Evans is kind of Steve Rogers.
But he's kind of grow on me a little bit.
Yeah.
Like at first,
Yeah,
like,
no, I mean, in
I'm-
the movie he's really good, but I mean, I don't know. I think he's doing some acting. Kind of, so Scarlett Johansson is kind of like a flirty, weird, hot girl.
And I'm not saying that Marvel doesn't take risks. They take major risks, like when they make the Avengers
Or Civil War.
and the Civil War, which getting so many good reviews.
But also,
He's
like, the biggest risk I think they took recently is the way that Spider-Man looks.
Mm.
because the past two Spider-Mans have been like live action. The suit, you put it on and like you can totally tell. But this one looks like more than skin tight, animated, and you know,
This
we
is
all
Spider-Man
know
from the '60s.
we all know what Green Lantern did to animated suits.
No, but I heard he's really good in the movie.
Yeah, I know, so did I. But we all know what Green Lantern did to animated suits.
Even Deadpool, like,
Yeah.
please don't make the suit green or animated.
Like, it's such a big risk to do that. That can single-handedly ruin the movie. But Marvel also has the lighthearted side of it, and DC cannot crack
Yeah.
jokes because, like, none of their comics crack jokes.
Like when the movie tried to make some like humor kind of moment, it didn't work because the whole movie is just so like depressing, just so I don't know. It's just too dark to have humor in it.
Yeah, I definitely
And
agree.
a lot like the majority of the audience is gonna enjoy a Marvel movie more. I think that's why they've been so successful because everybody can enjoy a Marvel movie. And for DC movie, unless you read DC comic and you love DC and you love the dark tones of it, you're not gonna enjoy the movie at all. So that's like one of the biggest problems this movie has. That
It caters to one audience,
Yeah.
and it's a very specific audience.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
final point of view is I can see why people like it. I just didn't like it. And
yeah, I mean
I don't think the critics are gonna like it at all. Rotten Tomatoes certainly doesn't like it.
28.
Like London Has Fallen has a better review
Right.
on Rotten Tomatoes. God Is Not Dead 2 has a
And
better review on Rotten Tomatoes.
Sharknado.
Has a better review.
Sharknado is fresh. Sharknado is fresh.
Because at least Sharknado's fun to watch. That's the one thing I thought Batman v Superman. I didn't go in with super high expectations, honestly. Because
And this
DC's
movie and Batman v Superman was
Yeah.
delayed, so there's just super high expectation. You want this movie to be this, you want the movie to be that, and it just wasn't. So I think that's one of the reasons why it got so many negative reviews. That it just not live up to the hype.
But I mean, will I watch it again? Probably. Will I pay to watch it again? Probably. I mean, it's an enjoyable enough movie to where people will go see
It's
it.
a beautiful movie, but it's just a mess.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful mess.
It's kind of like the movie equivalent of taking every toy out of your toy box and just like smashing them.
Yeah. So, what's your final thought on Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice and the whole DC, and what do you hope to see in the later movie in this DC
Okay.
universe?
Here's my checklist for what has to be good for this to work. Suicide Squad has to be good.
Oh, definitely.
Because that's establishing the main villain. Alright? If the Joker is bad, he won't be, because Jared Leto's an amazing actor, but if he is, the whole cinematic universe is ruined.
Right.
And I think it's really smart to bring in Harley Quinn now, because they can totally put her in as like a sidekick to the villain. And they could make a really, really good standalone Batman movie, which is now directed and starring and produced by Ben Affleck.
Is it not?
No, he is. It is. now.
Yeah, it is.
He's
yeah.
directing it now because he stole it away from Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
So,
He's like the one man show.
Yep.
That's me. That's me when I do like a group projects. That's me. I do everything.
But Suicide Squad has to be great, guaranteed. Justice League doesn't have to be amazing. Zack Snyder pretty much has to do the same thing, make it really visually cool. Part 2 of Justice League has to be great. Standalone Batman movie has to live up to at least Batman Begins. That's the biggest one, in my opinion, the standalone Batman movie, because that's where they'll make the most money. If they can make one good one, they got a trilogy, and that's billions of dollars. If they make one bad one, no one's going to go see the second one. The third one won't even get off the ground. Make that one good. Focus on that one first. Well, Suicide Squad first, because if you ruin that movie, I'm never watching a superhero movie again. Suicide Squad, Batman, Justice League. And then, once you establish the Justice League as a good enough movie, then branch out into the solo movies. The only solo movie, in my opinion, that's going to be good at all is Flash. Aquaman doesn't have a good enough villain. Cyborgs doesn't have a good enough story. Wonder Woman has a possibility, but I don't know if a lasso is that heroic. Batman v Superman. Go see it. Get your own opinion on it. See if you agree with Rotten Tomatoes or not.
See if you agree with Will or you agree with me. My final thought for DC Universe is that they need like compelling characters. They can't just throw in, CGI creature. They can't throw in CGI creature. And please listen to the negative review, even if it's shit. Please listen to it because you can learn a lot out of it. Because first of all, the editing is really messy, so you need to fix that. There are characters that fan hate. What's going on?
I don't know.
There are characters that fan hate, and there are scenes that didn't work in the movie at all. So you need to cut it out. Focus on what pleased the fan. Focus on what is actually good, and I thought they did a really good job with Superman and Batman in terms of character development. They need to do the same thing with Wonder Woman, with Green Lantern, with Flash, and all the standalone movie. Because when you watch the Marvel movie, they establish every single character before they make Avengers, and that's what makes Avengers so good because you care about every single
Except
character.
Hulk,
Well, they have a standalone Hulk movie.
but not with Mark Ruffalo.
Yep, but he was good in the movie though.
Yeah, but they didn't establish him. That was the risk in that movie.
Yeah.
Let's
But-
throw in Mark Ruffalo and see if people like it. Even though I liked Edward Norton more. But that's just because Edward Norton's one of my favorite actors. Go on.
So that's how you make a successful Justice League movie, and that you make every single member of the Justice League likable and relatable, and people feel for them when they're fighting. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to a Suicide Squad and
Yes.
see what's going on with that. All right, we need to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you, Will, for
It's a pleasure.
making this video with me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you soon.
You have to rate it from a scale of 1 to 10. What would you give it?
6.
6? Okay. What happens?
It's a messy movie.
I really like the movie. I'll give it an 8.